Welcome everybody to this presentation. This is a presentation that um, I've given a shorter version of this a couple of times in the last few months. Once up in Accelerate, and once just recently in Singapore at Southern Seller Fest. And people that have seen me speak, I've been speaking about 10 years or so in the Amazon space. People that have seen me speak said this is one of their favorite presentations that they've ever seen. So I hope you enjoy it as well. Um, we'll be here about an hour and a half today. So plan for about an hour and a half or so. And then I'll do some Q&A at the end. I do want to give you a little warning. There are a few, I'm going to be showing some videos and a few things in here. There are a few cuss words from time to time. So if you've got young children, or if another word for dog poo poo, the dirty word for that bothers you or something like that, just to give you a heads up. But we keep it pretty clean, but there are a few little things. So there are a couple of things in here that just want to let you know, and just in case someone's in the room, you just have a heads up on that. There will be a replay of this. That's the number one question. You're going to see that for like the next 30 minutes. Someone's going to show up late and they're going to go, is there a replay? Is there a replay? Is there a replay? It's going to be like the number one question in the chat. Yes, there will be a replay. So we'll be doing a replay of this. So if you have to step away, that's okay. I will be sending that out, so you'll be able to catch it. I'll also show you how to get the slides, so that you will have an option to get the presentation slides themselves. So you can actually review those. I'll give you that option at the end. There's no charge for that or anything, but I'll give you that option and how to do that. But one thing I do want to say is if you do leave, you're going to probably miss something, because towards the end of the presentation, I got some really cool stuff. And I'm going to reward you guys for staying on here for the next hour and a half. Uh, and I'm gonna probably cut that out. Well, I will, not probably. I will cut some things out of the end of the presentation. So if you are not on it live, there's a few things if you watch the replay that are just not going to be there, that are actually really, really cool. So just want to give you a heads up on that. The reason I'm doing this webinar is because a lot of you have different issues that are going on out there. Maybe you got a product and it's been selling for a while and it's just not selling like it should. Or maybe you launch something and it's just not selling. I mean, you're like, what the heck is going on? I know I got a good product. I know this, I did my research. It's just not selling. Maybe you're in a niche that's gotten super competitive. It's just a race to the bottom in price. And you're like, this is just ridiculous. Amazon keeps raising fees. The competitors keep lowering their price. Now there's going to be possibly new tariffs. How can I stand out? What can I do? Maybe using some keyword software like Helium 10 or whatever other tools out there that you like, Amazon's own backends tools to find opportunities. But basically, when you find an opportunity, by the time you launch, everybody else is doing the same thing. I don't know how many 3PLs I talk to that say they can tell what someone mentioned on a webinar, because all of a sudden there's tons of baby blankets, there's tons of this type of product or tons of that type of product being shipped in, because everybody's doing the same thing. Or maybe you know that you need to build a brand, because in today's world, that's what Amazon's focusing on. But you're like, how do I actually really do that? I know I need a logo. I know I need a name. I know a few basic things, but how do I actually build a brand so people just look for me by default and I don't have to depend on them finding me by a certain keyword. They just look for me by default. That's what I'm going to be showing you today. This is not a webinar of hacks. I'm known for a lot of hacks and people love the hacks, but the hacks can be good and they work for a short little time, but they're not long term. What I'm going to show you today is long-term strategy, and strategy that if you implement even 10% of what I'm going to show you, it can make a big difference and move the needle in your business. So one of the things that my main goal is here, I'm going to show you how to make more sales profitably, and I'm going to show you how to rank. I'm not going to give you some like crazy tactic, like if you do this to the keywords and you do this to Rufus and you do this. That's not what this webinar is about, but I'm going to show you how to fundamentally change the structure of your product and your business and actually have a chance to just crush this long term. Now, this webinar, like I said, I've done a shorter version of this. This is a little bit longer version, so it's the director's cut, if you will. So I can put everything in there, because a lot of times when I speak, they only give me so much time on stage, and then I'm always begging them for more. And sometimes they'll give me more, I'll just go over and I don't care. But this way I can actually give you everything. And these are three people that just saw it, a version of this about 3 weeks ago. You know Yanni from Gatita. He said this presentation was super hot at Southern Seller Fest in Singapore. I learned a lot from it. Don't miss this, y'all. It's a great presentation you had in Singapore. It says A. I don't really know who A is. Ritu, a lot of you know Ritu is one of the best out there when it comes to PPC and AI stuff. She's got a fantastic newsletter. If you're not following her newsletter about AI for e-commerce sales, she says it's a must-10. When she saw it there, she told me that, hey, you need to. I'm gonna have my whole staff show up. So if Ritu, if your staff is, and Bernie, if your staff is on here, hello everybody. I had a couple other people say that they see me speak a lot. This is one of their favorites. So you're in for a good treat. So I'm happy you guys are here. And this is I have to say it myself. This is a pretty good presentation. Now, if you don't know who the hell I am, who is this dude in the pink shirt talking? Most of you know who I am because you came from my newsletter, but I publish the Billion Dollar Sellers newsletter, which is the top newsletter for Amazon sellers. It may not have the most emails going out. There's other people that say they may send to 50,000 people, but those 50,000 people, most of them aren't reading it, or they're just going in the garbage. They didn't ask for it. So it's about 20,000 people almost now actually ask for the newsletter and read it. And then if you don't open and click at least once a month, I kick you off. So I've kicked off about 7,000 people that just aren't paying attention. So that number could be higher. I created the Freedom Ticket for Helium 10, which is the #1 course for how to sell on Amazon. 220,000 people have gone through it. I do the Billion Dollar Seller Summit. I do another event called Elevate 360. I do a couple podcasts, AM/PM podcasts, another one called Marketing Misfits. That's not about Amazon, but it's a pretty cool podcast. I speak at a lot of events. I've been on tons of podcasts, been featured in all kinds of newspapers. I still sell. That's fundamentally important because a lot of people that are teaching you stuff out there no longer sell. So I still do 7 figures a year. I'm not some like crazy $100 million seller, and I don't want to be because I enjoy the teaching part, but I still sell. And I was just shipping yesterday. I shipped about 100 packages personally myself, putting them in a box and shipping them out the door. Um, I just recently the Golden Seller Awards was just announced, and I didn't promote it or anything. Just people were nominated, and I got voted as the #1 most followed content. So if you don't know who I am, that's just a few little things. But enough about that. This is about you guys. Before we get started into the core of the presentation, I'm going to take about 2 minutes here. I'm just going to talk to you for just a second about something called Market Masters. A lot of you know that I do events called the Billion Dollar Seller Summit and those kinds of things. But Market Masters is my latest event, and there's a new one coming up in February. And we did one in September, the first one, and a lot of people that were there said it's the best event that they've ever been to, bar none, in the e-commerce space. And it's not a conference. It's not a go listen to a bunch of PowerPoint presentations. It's something totally different. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. But before we get going here, I want to show you a 2-minute video, just 2 minutes, and then I'm going to get into the core of the presentation. So if someone's complaining in the comments right now, like, get on with it. I'm about to get on with it. Don't worry, but I'm going to show you this little 2-minute video, and hopefully the sound works. that's just a couple little things I just want to talk about. This whole talk is not a pitch for that. I will talk about market masters in just a little bit more. But go past this. Just one thing I just want to emphasize though, the next BDSS, which is BDSS 11, is going to be in Iceland. So it's a 3 hour flight from the UK, about 5.5 hours from the east coast of the US. Got an amazing lineup of speakers. A lot of you know some of these names. A few of them you might not know, but it's an incredible lineup of speakers. But what I'm even more excited about, BDSS is going to be awesome. But one of the things I'm really excited about is the event I do right after BDSS called Elevate 360. And this is to get people out of the Amazon fishbowl because one of the biggest problems we have as Amazon sellers specifically is we're just caught up in this whole Amazon world. And if you can get out into the general internet marketing world and get out into other things that can really move the needle, you can like expand your business and your entrepreneurship and your life dramatically. And so I did an event in Hawaii back in May called Level Up right after BDSS, and about a third of the people, not everybody stayed, but about a third of the people stayed. It's an extra fee, but we change hotels and we're doing the same thing in Iceland. I've changed the name because of a trademark. After I tested the concept, it worked, and to get the trademark for Level Up was a little difficult. So I changed the name to Elevate 360. It's the same concept, but these speaker lineup, a lot of you're looking at these names, you're like, who the hell are these? I have no idea. This is, if you know, you know, this is an incredible lineup of speakers. Daryl Ives is Mr. Beast's partner. He's one of the major reasons that Mr. Beast has 300 something million followers. He's made more millionaires on YouTube than anybody. Jesse Elder's like a modern day Buddha. John Moran is like one of the top Google experts in the world. Katie Wells has 6 kids. One of her kids is up for the Olympics in 2026. She owns 10 companies, has like 20. She sits on 20 boards. Peter Thiel, the VC guy that started PayPal, he flies her out to have lunch with him just to pick her brain and talk to her. You got Rachel Miller of Facebook. Ronnick's got one of the top supplements. This is an amazing, amazing group of people. So that's an event that happens right after. And I just want to mention that out there. If you're interested, you can check the QR code there and get more information on both BDSS and Elevate 360. There's the QR codes again. And this is the last time I'll talk about those events on this, but I just want to throw that out there. There's still time to get tickets, still time to go. Iceland's going to be an amazing, amazing place. It's cool stuff. So check that out. All right, let's get into the heart of the presentation now. That's what everybody's here for. How to make more sales profitably, how to rank better, how to do all that good stuff that we talked about earlier. Start off here with a short little video.
Seth, where do people go wrong with marketing today?
I think people are misunderstanding what marketing is. It's not hype. It's not hustle. It's not crushing it. It's not elbowing people out of the way. Marketing is the work of telling a true story that spreads. It's having a strategy where the wind is at your back. It's doing work that matters for people who care. If you're doing those things, you're probably not going wrong. But if you're chasing clicks, if you're chasing short-term interactions, it's a really hard slog.
I just want to set the pace. That's what we're going to talk about today is marketing. My background is in marketing before I was actually doing all this Amazon stuff. I've been in marketing my entire life in the psychology of marketing, and I'm going to show you today a lot of very specific examples of how to get attention. In today's world, everything is about attention. There's so much coming at us, so many emails, so many social media, so many messages, and you got to get attention. And how do you get attention can make a huge difference in how successful you are on your business, not which keywords you necessarily have. And that is a short-term strategy, but this is long-term. How do you get attention? I'm going to show you specific examples how you as an e-commerce seller can do this. I'm not just going to talk theory. I'm going to show you today. So that's what you're going to learn. One of the key messages is you have 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, and I'm not talking about sex here. I'm talking about to get attention. You need to convey your message, whether that's on social media, whether it's an email, whether it's in a video, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's in person in an elevator when you're talking to somebody or at a party. You have 2 seconds to basically convince somebody that whatever you're selling or whatever you're offering is for them. If you cannot do it in 2 seconds, you need to keep working on your pitch. You've got 2 seconds. And in video and in imagery, you should be able to tell that story. You know, picture tells 1,000 words, what they say. So you got basically 2 pictures in 2 seconds. You got to convince somebody in 2 seconds. That's me. That's for me. I want that. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today. A good advertisement is one which sells the product without drawing attention to itself. It doesn't even necessarily feel like an ad. It feels like that's me. That they got me right there. That resonates. I don't feel like that's an ad. This is one of the most famous ads from about 100 years ago of all time. And it started out, it says that they laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I started to play. It says it all right there. If someone's in the mood to learn how to play the piano, that basically kind of goes into the psychology of everything, the feeling of everything. Uh, how many of you, you see someone that can play the piano and they're at a party and it's late at night. It's Rich, Goldstein playing it late at night on the piano. Like, man, I wish I could do that. I could get the girls, or I could get the guys, or I could be the center of entertainment. It says everything immediately. If it doesn't sell, if your product doesn't sell, then it's not creative enough. You have not gotten creative enough. And that's a problem that a lot of us have in the e-commerce business. We're not creative enough. We don't have people on our team that are creative enough. We're just taking whatever is given to us or whatever just shows the product features and benefits. And that's a major, major mistake. Take a look at this ad from a little over 20 years ago that Coca-Cola did. It announced that it said, hey, that Pepsi did. It says Coca-Cola announced that they're selling at 4 times what Pepsi's selling. They're just such a bigger brand. And so Pepsi said, oh, that's cool. Okay, so you're 4 times bigger than us. But here's their response. Take a look at the. Now, that's brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant ad. The best companies acknowledge their competitors. They acknowledge their competitors' strengths, and they even talk about why their product might not be the right fit. And now you're looking at me like, Kevin, why the hell would I acknowledge my competitor? Why would I even mention my competitor? I'm trying to sell my thing. I don't want to sell their thing. Because it builds trust. When you acknowledge somebody else and why theirs might actually even be better, it actually builds trust. A lot of us know who this guy is. Probably the richest. I think he's the richest guy in the world right now. He keeps going up and down depending on stocks. But I just heard he doubled his money in the last couple of months. But Elon Musk, he said, why should I mention competitors? Take a look at why he says you should.
Have you ever noticed why vending machines, there's always a Coca-Cola one, and then there is a Pepsi one right beside it?
Yes.
Have you noticed that? So if you go to like a stadium, they usually have one machine for Coke and then another one that is for Pepsi products. But why would they put it right beside each other? Well, if there is a Coke machine, in your head, your thought process changes from, am I going to buy a Coke or not? But when you see the two different brands next to each other, the thought process changes to, which one should I get? So it changes from maybe buying a drink to definitely buying a drink. But which one?
Oh, okay.
Now this is real science. It's like real marketing science. Both companies started profiting way more and increasing the sales the moment competition was right beside it, because it no longer became a choice of am I hungry or not? Am I thirsty or not? It gives you options, which makes you think about getting one. But picking which one more. So next time you're thinking about getting a drink from a vending machine, look to see if there's...
You get the idea. And this works. This is psychology. It's counterintuitive to the way that most of us think. Here's another really good video that says basically everything. There's a couple cuss words in this, just a heads up if there's a kid around that you need to send out of the room. But this is an awesome video from a TV show that I think was on HBO or Showtime.
All other things, ushers adapt quickly. It's one thing I tried to teach them, the art of the pivot. When life hands you lemons.
Make lemonade?
No. First, you roll out a multimedia campaign to convince people lemons are incredibly scarce, which only works if you stockpile lemons, control the supply, then a media blitz. Lemons are the only way to say I love you, the must-have accessory for engagements or anniversaries. Roses are out, lemons are in, billboards that say she won't have sex with you unless you've got lemons. You cut De Beers in on it. Limited edition lemon bracelets, yellow diamonds called lemon drops. You get Apple to call their new operating system OS Lemon. Little accent over the O. You charge 40% more for organic lemons, 50% more for conflict-free lemons. You pack the capital with lemon lobbyists. You get a Kardashian to suck a lemon wedge in a leaked sex tape. Timothy Chalamet wears lemon shoes at Cannes. Get a hashtag campaign. Something isn't cool or tight or awesome. No, it's lemon. Did you see that movie? Did you go to that concert? It was effing lemon. Billie Eilish, OMG, hashtag lemon. You get Dr. Oz to recommend 4 lemons a day and a lemon suppository supplement to get rid of toxins, because there is nothing scarier than toxins. Then you patent the seeds. You write a line of genetic code that makes lemons look just a little more like tits, and you get a gene patent for the tit lemon DNA sequence. You cross-pollinate, you get those seeds circulating in the wild, and then you sue the farmers for copyright infringement when that genetic code shows up on their land. Sit back, rake in the millions, and then when you're done and you've sold your lempire for a few $1 billion, then and only then you make some fucking lemonade.
That's great. That's awesome.
All other
Oops. So I have a question. Type it in the Q&A or in the chat here. Who wants to sell a lemon empire for a few $1 billion because their customers can make lemonade? Type it in. Let me see who's paying attention. Who's paying attention? All right, Kathy, Matt. I see Matt Costin. Hey, welcome, Matt. Katia, Janet, Dan and Julian. They're piling in quick. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's continue on. Got a lot more for you. Here's the key. We all are selling products. That's the problem. In all of our marketing on Amazon and all of our marketing and everything that we're doing trying to build our brand, we're not solving problems. We're selling products, not solving problems. You've got to switch your thinking from selling products to actually solving problems. People don't want to be sold to. You don't want to come on this webinar and just have me pitch you and like buy. You're gonna be leaving. You're like, you're probably a lot of you right now waiting. It's like, when's the pitch? When's Kevin going to try to sell us something? You don't want to be that. You can't sell to everyone. If you try to please everyone, you please nobody. So quit trying to do that. Take a look here with Seth again. Another really great quote.
So I fired the New York Times years ago. I don't do things to get on the New York Times bestseller list because it doesn't matter, right? What does matter are 2 things. 1, write a book that after people read it, they want to tell the others. And 2, sell the first 10,000 copies, just to people you know or people who trust you. After that, as Sean Coyne has said, it's the book's job to sell the rest. So James Clear sold 15 million books, but he didn't. James Clear sold 10,000 books, and then his book sold 15 million books. And so that's the opportunity.
That's a very important statement that he just made. Whether it's a book or a product, you need to actually have a good product that actually will sell itself. And you do that through marketing and by having a quality product. So for those of you who don't know, that's Seth Godin, one of the most famous marketers out there. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits, 15 million copies sold, very famous book. A lot of you probably actually read it. But what he did is he actually put out a quality product, marketed it in such a way. He went on like 150 podcasts before he actually launched the book, just talking, just to get the momentum going. Just like we do to launch a product on Amazon, is get that initial ball going, give it to friends and family, or use a service or whatever however you may be launching, just get it out there. And then if you do everything around the marketing, some of what I'm about to show you, then it should start snowballing itself. And you should just be able in the back end, just supporting and just fixing the little issues that come up. And that's exactly how James Clear has sold 15 million copies. A product that doesn't sell itself is not worth making. You can make a quick buck on something. The people with what just happened with the shooting in New York, people are making a quick buck on print on demand, doing all kinds of putting slogans from those bullets and stuff on shirts. But that's short-lived. That's a quick buck. It gets shut down. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, all shut it down. That's not a way to build a brand or build a company. That's a way to just bounce from thing to thing to thing and lose your ass most of the time. This is how you actually build something foundational that you can sell that can be generational. Look at Hermes. Hermes, however you want to say it. A lot of the women here know who that is. A lot of them want a Birkin purse. A Birkin purse is one of the most famous purses. You can't just walk into their store and buy a Birkin purse. Even if you're a celebrity, you have to actually be invited to actually buy this 30, 50, $100,000, sometimes even more purse. You can't just go buy it. Even if you have the money, they won't sell it to you. You got to be invited to do it. They sell luxury handbags. They sell all kinds, been around since like the 1800s, sell all kinds of luxury handbags and fashion products and everything. But take a look at this. Their main value is real craftsmanship. A lot of people don't realize it takes longer to produce a Birkin bag, about 40 hours, than it does to manufacture a car. So that $30,000 Birkin bag actually took longer to actually manufacture than it does to assemble a car. To them, quality is everything. If the bag isn't perfect, they burn it. If they find a little glitch or a little string hanging off, it's not like sell this on the secondhand market or let's go back and fix it. They burn it. That's the insistence on the quality. And now people are dying. Almost every woman here would love to have a Birkin. Whether they have the money or not, if someone give it to them, they would love to have it. It's become a status symbol. But unlike most of its competitors, Hermes does not promote its products heavily. They don't increase their supply to meet demand. They don't like, oh shit, we could sell 100 more of these. Let's make more. They don't do that. They don't have celebrity endorsements. Some celebrities will talk about it or wear the stuff, but they're not paid endorsements. They don't even have a marketing department, a true marketing department. They don't even have a true marketing department running ads or anything. But look at their profitability. The gross margin is 71.5%. You can look this up in their stock reports and stuff. The gross margin is 71.5%. Their net profit margin is 31%. That's crazy. That's because they're doing the marketing and they're doing a quality product and they're doing the psychology of marketing. Even though they don't have a marketing department, they're doing it all correctly. Anyone can build a product. Anybody watching this webinar can build a product, but not everybody can sell a product. That's the big difference. Sell the problem you solve, not the product. That's the main message. Sell the problem you solve, not the product. So many of us are selling the product. Why is it cool? What are the benefits? What are the features? What will it do? What is the problem that you're solving? Every product solves a problem, whether it's a kitchen gadget or it's a radio or it's a pair of socks or whatever it may be, or it's a dog toy, whatever it may be, it's solving a problem. Find the problem and emphasize that, not the product. That's called brand positioning. And there's a whole lot we can talk about on brand positioning. We're going to talk about some of it right now. To connect with people, you can't just talk about external problems. You have to address their internal problems. It's not just external problems, it's their internal problems too. Take a look at this video.
When are you gonna get out of here?
In a while. I gotta get back.
I love you, Mama!
I love you too, baby!
You see how they said it cleans the tough stuff at the end? They didn't emphasize at the beginning. They got on the emotions of this is going to allow you to spend more time with your family versus cleaning. It's solving the problem. It's a different way of thinking. Start with the ad. I encourage you to try this. Start with the ad, not the product. Instead of going to Helium 10 and looking for keyword opportunities or whatever other tool you may use and saying, oh, there's a gap. I can fill that gap. Let me go see if I can source this for a decent price and everything that everybody teaches. Try it a different way. Actually start with the ad. Start with an ad. What is a problem that's out there? And then go find the product that solves that problem. Or develop the product yourself to actually solve that problem in a different way than maybe it was being solved. Take a look, Steve Jobs. Who knows Steve Jobs? He says you have to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. Start with the experience and work backwards to the technology. He didn't just come up with the idea for an iPhone like, oh, we should put this on. He's like, what is the experience going to be like of using this? And then what do we need to do to include in this product to actually make it so everybody, when they see it, there's a line out the door to come get the next version. And it sells itself. What does it do? It sells itself. They ran a little bit of advertising for awareness and then just sold itself. Just like we talked about with James Clear in his book. Take a look at this. This is one of my favorite podcasts, My First Million. Take a look at this here.
You said something interesting I want to go back to real quick. You said When I think about businesses, I start with the advert, which is the ad, and you work backwards to the business. So what, like, explain that more, because I think it's really smart. What do you mean by that? Or maybe what's an example of that?
I've helped so many founders with their advertising, and the amount of them will spend years on their idea and then realize there's no distribution for this thing. It just isn't distributed native. So I always think from the compression algorithm. I know we spoke about this, Sean, of like a sticky idea, which is essentially all adverts, like good adverts themselves are a sticky idea, which is essentially the following algorithm of total amount of emotion times number of people that can understand it. And that is what makes ultimately a good advert. And if I can't compress it down, because people talk about an elevator pitch, it's almost like the ad pitch, right? Can you compress this thing down to person who doesn't give a fuck about you, scrolling in their feed, and then immediately going, I'm going to give money towards this. That 2-second snapshot. And I think if you can't compress that down, it needs more work.
That's brilliant. I hope when you get the replay, you go back and you watch that 5 times, because that's brilliant. You need to be doing this, spending more time getting that compressed down to that 2 seconds. Remember what I said at the very beginning, 2 seconds. Here's the thing though, customers are, I saw someone post, but you got to get traffic, you got to get eyeballs. Customers are not always aware of the problems they have. They're not always aware of the problems. Make them aware. That's part of the job of advertising and marketing. It's human nature to try to solve problems we become alerted to, even if the problem wasn't really affecting us in the first place. Think about that for a second. We want to solve things, even if we weren't even thinking about it in the first place, even if we didn't have the problem, but you tell us about the problem, now we want to solve the problem. How do you do that on e-commerce? Well, let me show you an example here in just a second. Create problems, and your customers will be more likely to buy your solution. Create the problems. Come up with innovative ways of whatever you're selling to create problems, and your product solves that. Here's a perfect example. These are little baby diaper changing stations. You know, when you're traveling, it's Christmas time right now when this is being I'm delivering this live, and people are traveling and they got a young baby, you want to go in the bathroom, change the diapers. Well, 15, 20 years ago, there wasn't a place to do that. Now you see these little things that are attached to the wall and they pop down, make a little diaper changing station, keep it all clean. The company that made these was reaching out to airport administrators, the people that run the airports and run all the supplies and everything for the airports, trying to convince them that, hey, you need to actually put one of these in your airports, because it's going to be great for all your travelers and all your people, restaurants, everybody, in the hospitality industry. It's going to be great for people who are changing babies, because there's no place for them to really do it. And so they're running ads like this in their brochure, which everybody's doing now. I'm sure you're doing something like this in your ads on Amazon, where you have a happy family and you got the baby and a happy wife, everybody's smiling, it's all content. This is bullshit. When they ran this, they sold about $800,000 worth of this product. Then what they did is they changed their marketing message. They went to the 2-second rule. They changed this image from this happy image that everybody in this call is probably doing something similar to this, and they changed it to this image I'm about to show you. Sales went up over the next 5 years to 800 million. 800 million, from 800,000 to 800 million. They didn't change the price. They didn't change anything else. They just changed the image. 2-second rule. When someone sees it, that's me, or oh no, that cannot be my customers. I cannot have that happen in my airport or my restaurant. That's the image. Baby on the floor in a nasty ass freaking restaurant, trying to change the diapers. Don't let your customers experience this. It sells itself. In 2 seconds, you got that message. You're like, oh hell no. I ain't doing that with my baby this holiday season when I'm traveling. Hell no. That's what you got to get to, is this type of thing. And you can do it. It takes creativity. It takes some time. It takes some brains coming together. With ChatGPT now, there's some amazing stuff. I'm going to give you a tool here in a little bit that will help you brainstorm. You don't even need to assemble 20 smart marketers. You can have ChatGPT do this for you and brainstorm with you. And it's amazing. I'm going to give you a tool that will do it. And some pretty cool stuff. Here's another example of how to do this. This is an Amazon product. This is a water purification thing, a filter to soften your water, get all the crap out of the water for your house. And they've got a nice product, doing well, good reviews. This is their video on their listing. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just going to play a few parts. Okay, that video keeps going on. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Nice video, nicely produced, showing all the features, got some nice graphics. If I put that up on social media, I'm just going to flip on past it. I'm just going I ain't going to pay attention to that. Only if I know I have a specific need for that, because I just moved into a new house and the real estate agent told me the water's hard here. I'm going to go maybe try to find one of those. And oh, this video looks good. I'm going to buy it. But what if you could create a problem? What if you could actually alert people like, hey, did you know that the water coming in your house may be poisoning you or maybe making you sick or making your family sick? Here's a rough cut example of how I would do it. Now, I pieced together two videos, so this is not a polished video, but it's just to give you the concept. So it's two videos put together just as they call it FPO, or for position only.
Have you ever wondered what's inside that nasty old tank in your basement or garage? On the Build Show today, we're gonna find out. Nice, Jordan. Well done, my man. Just flap it back, that's fine. Very interesting. Look at that scale. That is incredible. Holy.
Now, what if that was your product and you actually, that was a gas heater, but what if that was a water heater instead? Like I said, I just pieced that together, two clips I found really quick. And you actually said, do you realize that this is what's coming through your house? Our water filter fixes this problem. That's an example of what I'm talking about. Another example here is there's an area, visual images are processed in the visual cortex of the brain at the base of the skull. Sound is processed in the auditory cortex, which is right above your ear. Have you ever noticed when you watch a video on, like, say, YouTube or someone on social media, if the video quality sucks, if the video is kind of bouncy or a little grainy or whatever, you're okay with it as long as the sound is good. But if the sound is bad on the video, it's got a lot of wind or you can barely hear them or whatever, a lot of background noise, you're like, ah, screw this, I'm moving on. Even if the video is perfect. It's because sound is the most important thing psychologically to the human, to humans, when it comes to actually processing information and actually convincing them to buy something. Sound is the most important, not how it looks, it's how it sounds. And the area that controls this is called Broca. You can look all this up. It's the theater critic of the imagination, the part of the human mind that anticipates and ignores the predictable. Someone asked earlier in the Q&A, like, how am I supposed to get attention? This is all great, Kevin, but how am I supposed to? This is how you do it. You do it with sound. The object of advertising is to influence the prefrontal cortex, which is the seat of emotion, planning, and judgment. And the shortest way to get there is from Broca's area of the brain, which means audio. Describe with audio what you want the listener to see, and she will see it. Describe with audio what you want them to see, and she will see it. Think about some of the greatest commercials you've heard when you're driving in your car on the radio. A lot of commercials suck, but the really goes, they paint a picture, and you imagine something in your mind, and they're doing it with audio. One of the best at this is a famous TV show. You might know this show. Listen to the audio here. The audio of the pictures it's painting in this introduction. I'm just going to play part of it to this TV show. You get the idea. You see how the audio and the sound effects are painting a picture and saying a lot more than what the actual video, the pictures in the video, what you're viewing. It adds to it. The secret of persuasion is in the use of action words and sound. The magic of advertising is in the verbs, if you're going to have spoken word. And sound can act as a verb. Take a look at the Swiss coffee drop maker, Ricola. A lot of us know Ricola. I've got a cold right now. You can probably tell in I may cough here in a second or something, but I will my way into it. excuse me. Ricola faced a major problem as it tried to expand internationally. Almost nobody in America knew who this brand was. Halls and Vicks dominated the market for cough drops and sore throat lounges, accounting for about 67% of all the sales back in 1987. So Ricola brought in a yodeler and an Alphorn player. And in a famous 1994 commercial, they stood in the shadow of the Matterhorn over in Europe and belted out a sound that echoed throughout the mountains. Some of you may remember this if you're old enough. It was Ricola. It sounded something like this. Ricola.
Pleasant-tasting Ricola is blended from organically grown Swiss alpine herbs and other natural ingredients. Ricola, natural herb cough drops from Switzerland. Now available and sugar-free, naturally.
Brilliant advertising. Brilliant advertising. Jingles with words that you can't get out of here. A lot of you are now going to be in the shower tomorrow going, Ricola. It's going to be stuck in your head. If you can come up with words that you just can't get out of your head, it works so well. Think about some of your favorite songs. You know the lyrics or the chorus to a lot of your favorite songs. You can't get them out of your head. Or as soon as you hear the beat, you actually know what the lyrics are going to be. You can do this in your advertising too. I did it back during COVID. I had a company called Germ Shark. We sold hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is a commodity. It's just alcohol to clean your hands. It's like, how do you differentiate something that basically the ingredients are almost identical, other than maybe a smell, in every single product that's out there? You can do it with packaging. You can do it with some other ways. But how do you do it? This is how we did it. I remember I sent this to Bradley over at Helium 10, and when he heard it, he's like, God, he got mad at me. He's like, he's joking, but he's like, Kevin, God damn it, now I can't get this out of my head. But I turned the brand into a verb. Just like Google has turned in, you say Google it, or something like that. It's now a verb. This is what we did on an Amazon product. This is our video.
Hello, my friend, I want you to be safe. Keep your hands clean and affectionately. I'm here to help you. Keep the germs away. Open the bottle. I've had the germ charge. Rub it. Germ shark protection. Clean your hand keeps the germs away. Better strength, the best protection. No matter where you are, it can't be too far. Germ shark your hands. Germ shark your hands. Germ shark your hands. Germ shark your hands.
Well, you get the idea. You see how we turned a jingle and we actually started using that in our advertising, and it worked. We were selling like crazy. What if you don't have a term or a verb? Make one up. Did you notice in that video that I said it's predator protection? I don't know if you caught that. One of the lines, and that guy, not the best singer, that's okay, but one of the lines, he said, this is predator protection. What the hell is predator protection? We just made that up. So if you don't have a verb, make it up for your product. But here's an example. Back in the early 1900s, Albert Lasker needed to find a way to sell Listerine, for people with bad breath. It's a mouthwash, if you don't know what that is, if you're not from the U.S. or a place where it's sold. It's to get rid of bad breath. You drink a little bit and gurgle it and spit it out. And people just weren't buying it. So he's like, what can I do? So he decided to give bad smelling breath a medical sounding name. He made up the name halitosis. Now it's in the dictionary. He made up the name, advertised the heck out of it as a new problem, and drove millions in sales. You can do the same thing for your product. Make up a name. Make up a problem. Here's an example of it in a commercial that a big brand is doing right now.
Jimmy's gotten used to his whole room smelling like sweaty odors. Yep, he's gone nose blind. He thinks it smells fine, but his mom smells this. Luckily for all your hard-to-wash fabrics, there's Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze doesn't just mask, it eliminates odors you've gone nose blind to. Break out the Febreze and breathe happy.
See how they've made up a totally different word. I don't know, it looks like we lost Clark. He just posted in here and said, this presentation has taken too long to get to the point. He's got to go. I think he's missing the point, completely missing the point. See you later, Clark. If you don't get it, you're clueless. Here's another way to actually do stuff with sound. How this is a store selling wines had French wines and German wines, and when the days that they played French music, the French wine outsold the German wine. On the days that they played German music, the German wine outsold the French wine. That's how powerful sound is. Customers are willing to pay more for products as long as they get to hear what it sounds like first. As long as they get to hear what it sounds like first, they're like, Kevin, that's great, but I sell on Amazon. People are looking at my listing. How the hell am I supposed to do that? Take a look at this. This is how you do it. These guys are selling a backpack. So how do you sell with sound? Like this. You get the idea? You can also do it in images. You can do it. Coca-Cola does it here. Now, they said, actually, try not to hear this. And these images create the effect of synesthesia, which is senses that cross in the brain, sight and sound. As you're opening this, most of us know, you see the little bubbles of carbonation. You know this sound, you've heard this. And it instantly paints a picture in your head that's going to help sell the product. You can do similar things like this. Use familiar things. You know how sometimes people show size and they'll put a quarter next to their products because everybody knows the size of a quarter. Do the same thing with things that people know the sound of. Maybe it's a bird chirping, or maybe it's a smell. People do this in supplements. They put a cherry if their things taste like cherries because people know what cherry tastes like. They put a picture of an actual cherry, the fruit, in the picture. You can do all kinds of stuff like this where it actually connotates that sound. It's amazingly powerful. People love ads that have an emotional story as well and that are memorable. If they have an emotional story and they're memorable, people love them. This is an example I'm about to show you of how people will fall in love with brands that make them feel things. If you can make people feel things in your advertising and in your brand, you will be so far ahead of everybody else, and you'll have such a moat around you that it's going to be difficult for someone to compete. Take a look at this ad. Now, what did that ad just do? It tells a story, solves a problem, it uses sound to paint pictures, it keeps you engaged, what's coming next, it creates an emotional connection, the brand is prominently displayed, that Google logo is everywhere, and it's memorable. That is a brilliant ad that Google did about 20 years ago. This is what you need to be thinking of. Is what I'm showing here is example after example after example of how you need to change the way you're thinking when you're trying to build your brand and sell your products. Now, I'm going to get into some very specific marketing tactics and some very specific examples here in just a second. But before I do that, I want to talk about how you can actually get this kind of information for yourself one-to-one, where you're like, okay, Kevin, this is great, but I don't know exactly how to do this. That's why I created the Market Masters think tank. The Market Masters think tank is where we do this. It's not a presentations where, okay, that's great, that's a cool Google ad, but how do I do it for my brand? I'm selling, I don't know, men's underwear. How do I do it for my men's underwear brand? That's when you can get in the room with experts, 8 to 10 experts that know this business backwards and forwards and can help you with that. Or maybe it's another problem. Maybe it's your PPC, or maybe it's some other issue, or that have experience and they can brainstorm together collectively. Steel sharpens steel, And you walk away from that with like, holy cow, this was mind blowing. Now I know exactly what to do specifically for me. Once it's some general presentation, I have step by step by step. And that's what I've done with the Market Masters think tank is I curate people, 8 to 10 people to come in and sit with you for 2 to 3 hours in a private room and actually work on your business. And then you have an entire weekend to brainstorm with them over the course of the entire weekend. I'm going to show you a little video from the one we just did in September for a couple minutes here, just to give you an idea of how this can be life-changing for you. We had people fly in from Shenzhen that were doing $70 million. We had a company that was doing $130 million on Amazon from Las Vegas come in. And what they thought they needed is not what they needed. By the end time they left, they're like, holy cow, we thought we needed this. We're leaving with this. This is going to be game changing for our business. But just take a look at this.
I am at one of the most amazing events that you will ever see in the Amazon ecosystem, held by Kevin King. This is Market Masters, a BDSS event.
Kevin King puts on the most incredible events. If you've never been to one, I can tell you this is another one you've got to add to your list.
What came out of this was specific actionable things that I can do starting tomorrow to take my company to the next level.
I've been to a lot of events around the world, and this one is different and unique in several key ways. So I've been able to work with lots of entrepreneurs here and sit in on a couple think tanks. And we went really deep, and I think unearthed things that the entrepreneur hadn't yet considered as possible areas to expand or to solve problems that they have. And that is extraordinarily valuable.
Pretty much this mastermind just ruined every other mastermind in the industry for me.
Doing something like this is so unique, and there's very few people who offer something like this. And Kevin King is the only one who offers it in the e-commerce space.
The value that you get, not only from your session, but everything that is around it. I will say, don't overthink it. This is a great experience.
The amount of value is insane. So to be able to sit in a think tank and have that compounded effect from like 10 to 15 experts listening to your situation and offering you guidance from every single different kind of angle is incredibly valuable. And right, you don't always get what you want, but you're going to get what you need. And that's what's happened here.
It's like a no-brainer if you can carve out the budget to come. You just don't get that level of connection as well as engagement when you're attending conferences.
This Market Master think tank event with an actual plan that they can take back and start implementing right away to grow and scale their business.
So we were going down the road that we thought we were going to go down, where the experts pivoted to what they thought was more important, and they were right. And the last 30 minutes turned out to be a conversation that probably will change the trajectory of the business for the next 5 years.
The think tank for me was mind-blowing. It was very intense, but we uncovered problems that I didn't even know existed in my business.
I've never been at another event where each participant gets to have this level of breakthrough by having top experts focus on them specifically. And when they do that, they see things that the brand owner doesn't necessarily see. We saw it again and again where there's blind spots in the brand owner where they didn't realize that they were missing out on a massive opportunity, or frankly, they were screwing up their business and they just didn't realize.
What I loved about the style of the event and the way that it was laid out is that the first hour was only asking questions. We all had to get, as experts, sitting around the person that we were working on their business, all of the details. And then we had so many experts that were great at their own thing.
We have think tanks going on, which is the most exciting bit of it, is where me as a seller gets to sit with 12 of the most accomplished people in this industry.
Proximity is power. And when you are sitting next to the top 1% of the whole e-commerce world, so, you know, that's what happened. It's very, very powerful.
Sitting in a hot seat for 2 hours, but after that, you've got 20 experts and any of the participants sitting in a room, either in the kitchen, dining. There's like 20 rooms in this mansion, but you know, you can sit and you can talk privately or as a group.
So the networking, it was so unique. And I've met somebody that's doing over 300 million a year, someone doing 83 million a year, and we were just having dinner and having chats. So it's a lot of fun.
So I don't know if you're considering joining the next think tank event, I would say do it.
If you've ever felt like one of the many events out there are too general, they never really solve your problem, you come back with too many ideas and it all just feels too overwhelming, please get to the next think tank. Get to the next BDSS Market Masters think tank. This is the kind of event that scales you from 20 million to 100 million. And that is why she's so happy she came this weekend. And I saw people calling their business partners and sending emails and sending text messages, already implementing the steps they've learned over the weekend.
Honestly, when I heard how much this costs, I thought, that's too cheap.
I came away with a business plan to take my company to 2x, 5x, 10x growth over the coming year.
I've been to probably a dozen plus events, most of which I've spoken at. And so this is truly one of a kind event.
Are the highest level of caliber as far as the quality and experience of the experts, that people were hitting walls that others had hit, and we helped them break through them. This was impactful for everyone in the room.
I'm going to go home much richer for having attended.
We feel like we've been talked a lot more to in this conference than talked at.
If you ever have the opportunity to join the next Market Masters event or one of Kevin's event, BDSS, you've got to join.
Get to the next BDSS Market Masters think tank. Set your money aside. Plan for it whenever the dates get announced. Mark your calendar. Take those days off. Take the weekend. Come have fun, but come fix your business and personalize it to exactly what you need.
So that's what the Market Masters is. And we're doing this next one in just a couple months in February. And and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I've got something really cool coming for you at the end that I'm going to give you some secrets from that a way to get some secrets that even the people at the think tank that were there don't even know. But before that, let's continue on the presentation. Let me give you some specific marketing tactics about everything that we've been talking about. What you say to persuade is important, but what you put in front of your message before it's delivered is sometimes even more important. Getting that attention, what you put in front of the message, it's called pre-framing. There's something also called Cunningham's Law. The best way to get the right answer on the internet is not to ask a question. It's to post the wrong answer. Post something wrong and watch what happens, how viral it goes. Because people love to be the smartest person in the room. Everybody wants to feel like they're the smartest person in the room. Oh, that guy's so wrong. You see this in politics. You see this all the time. That's so wrong. We like one-upping other people. It's human nature. It's just human nature. No matter how humble you are, you still kind of deep down like it. We don't mind if someone lacks knowledge, though. But we do mind when someone has incorrect knowledge that we know we can correct. You can do this in your marketing, too. Here's a few tactics as well. What you're not is a great way of emphasizing what you are. Look at these examples. No ads, no clickbait. Just the best football writing in the world. Not a shitty speed dating event. Places where everyone is single and having fun in real life. Tech, Web3, and business strategy, but not boring. Real bread isn't made in factories. It's baked in bakeries. So saying what you're not is a great way of emphasizing what you are. Use some of this in your advertising and your image stack on Amazon and watch what happens on your conversions. Here's George Mack, our guy from My First Million. He says Rolls-Royce stopped exhibiting at car shows. Instead, they started exhibiting at aircraft shows. Why? Because if you've been looking at jets all afternoon, 300,000 quid for a car is an impulse buy. It's like putting sweets next to the counter. So go places where your competition is not, or complementary places, and watch what happens. That's why Elevate 360, remember at the beginning I talked about Elevate 360 and BDSS, go to complementary places and get some knowledge and get some connections and watch what happens in your core business. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And most of us aren't, or 99% of us are not doing that. Avoid dictionary words. If you're using ChatGPT, this is bad with this. Maintains bins odors and cleanliness for extended periods. Just get straight to the point. Keeps bins fresh and clean for days. Do patterns, time frame, customers, outcome. Just last week, X number, give it specific numbers and don't use round numbers. Don't use 2,000 or 8,000. Use odd numbers that have odd endings, like 8,979 creators from 127 countries got paid this much money. And if you can even put the cents on there, it's even better. It's much more credible. Do these kinds of things, and you'll look at the one that's in 2021. We helped 256 podcasters rack up 7,681,632 downloads. It's very specific. It's not saying we helped almost 300 podcasters get 8 million downloads. This stuff works when you're very much specific. Get into the weeds, and it gives credibility. Avoid using landing page words like unlock, unleash. ChatGPT is horrible with this. Exceed, empower, supercharge, etc. Don't use them. Even if you're using ChatGPT, tell it, don't use landing page words. Put that in your prompt. Write me this, blah, 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 blah. Do not use landing page words. Example of landing page words are these. Do not use them. Supercharge your front-end skills by building real projects. No, improve your front-end skills by building real projects. Change the words. These things can make a huge difference. Scratch things out. This is the crossed out problem. Show them the problem because people are going to read the whole thing. But if you scratch out the words that don't matter and they just put it together like I'm focused, but I'm dealing with 10,000 unread email, you get the message. These kinds of things work. Scratch out the part that doesn't apply. A lot of us might remember this. Where's the beef? The old lady yelling into the phones because she got her Wendy's or her hamburger. This is for Wendy's. She got her hamburger from McDonald's or Burger King, and it's like this little tiny beef patty on there. Like, where's the beef? Those kind of things work out and increase Wendy's worldwide sales by 31%. That ad is crazy. If you want to create shareable content, get these things to go viral, there's 3 things that will work the best. It's either you need to see this, you won't believe this, or let's do this. Now, you don't have to use those exact words, but the context and the messaging needs to fall into one of those 3 categories, and your chance of going viral goes way the heck up. Mention a first step that's completed. People like to know that they're already halfway there or a part of the way there. So view this image. Oh, yeah, it's kind of obvious. View this image, but that's a step. I've already done one of the 3 steps, so that was an easy one. Read this tactic, share this tactic. These kinds of things really, really work. Or show somebody, if you go to get a punch card from, your favorite bagel place, and you buy 10 bagels or 20 bagels or something, and, you get one free. They'll punch. Maybe you just bought 1 bagel, so instead of just punching one, they'll give you a running start with like 4 punches. And you're like, oh, that was cool. I got 4 punches instead of 1 to start off with. I'm already 25% of the way there. And maybe that's better than actually doing a bagel punch card that says get 15 and we're just going to punch one at a time. It's psychological. So do these kinds of things. You can do this with products, with bundling, with accessories. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with this in your marketing. The most effective copywriting technique is rhyme. But it's hardly ever used. Think about rap songs and some of the best songs. It's rhyme. It makes a line twice as memorable and 22% more believable. So makes your bin smell clean and soaks up the dirt was the original ad. But change that to makes your bin smell fresh and soaks up the mess. It's the same thing, but now they change it to rhyme. Or your throat feels better when you take a soother. Your throat feels smoother when you suck a soother. Just change it. Use these kind of techniques. How do you make your product more relatable? Drop it in real scenarios. Video ads turned around in record time. So they're saying that, we'll do this overnight. Or something like that. We'll turn around your ad overnight while you're sleeping. No, be specific. It's 3 a.m. and you need a video ad for tomorrow. That's going to be much more effective and convert at a much higher rate psychologically. Show the real why of someone buying your product. This is a plane ticket for Aeromexico, and they're showing a copy of the boarding pass, but they're showing grandma getting to see the grandchild. That's the real why. So they're showing the real why as part of the advertisement. Like, yes, okay, I'm going to go on Aeromexico and buy a ticket because I'm going to go see my grandkid. They're not selling the flight. Remember what I said earlier, quit selling the product, sell the emotion, sell the solution, sell the problem. They're solving the problem. Remember what we started this whole thing at? The guy that left, he's missing the whole point of this. This is how you sell. This ad's a 2-second ad. In 2 seconds, this guy's washing the dishes with the cat. You're like, holy shit, I woke up with a hangover and drunk. A hangover's dangerous. Alka-Seltzer helps fix the problem. You see this one. Compare yourself. Remember we talked about earlier, compare yourself. The Tesla of wallets. Don't be afraid to compare yourself to something that people know. Everybody knows what Tesla is. This is the Tesla of wallets. You can compare yourself to somebody else. One of the people that was in the think tank, $70 million Chinese seller. She does men grooming products, and there's a company called Manscaped that's out there that spent hundreds of millions of dollars advertising the product that barely making a profit. She came in with a better product, and she's comparing herself to them and leeching off of all that advertising and all that stuff. And you got to be careful with brand names and careful. There's certain ways you got to do it, but there's ways to do it. And when you do that, it can be magic because it paints an instant picture. And you get to that 2 seconds. I don't have to explain anything else to them. They know. Just changing the packaging a little bit. This is Diamond Shreddies. They used to have a square, and they still have a square, but now they said, hey, the new version is a diamond. They just flipped it 45 degrees. New and improved version. All it is just flipped. Same freaking product, just flipped and showing it differently. Sometimes things just as simple as that can actually make a huge, huge difference and increase sales. In this case, a couple $1 million, 18% in the following quarter alone, just by flipping it. It's crazy. A great line is a good line made shorter, so don't be too wordy. Bras designed for smaller cup sizes, that's too wordy. Bras for small boobs, says it all right there. Boom, 2 seconds. We make good quality weed? No, it's just good weed. Good weed. Google Chrome tracks your web activity. We don't track anything. Google tracks you, we don't. Get straight to the point. Cut it down. Remember that 2 seconds. Get creative. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Good artists copy. Great artists steal. There's nothing wrong with getting inspiration from the past. A lot of the marketing from the last 100 years is still brilliant today. It's just the technology has changed. I see people all the time that are young, like, oh, this is the hot new thing. Look, people are now doing postcard marketing. Like, come on, dude. Postcard marketing's been around forever, and it still works today. And just like it did then, just the technology is different. You can do more customization. You do more cool things. So steal from the past. Steal from good things. Create a swap file when you see stuff out there and put it away. And like, this is a good idea. I don't need it right this second, but at some point when I'm trying to get ideas, I'll come back to it. Here's one right here for a baby carriage, or it's actually for Durex, for condoms. You know, $217 for the baby carriage, or just $2.50 for a condom. Instantly, 2 seconds right there. You know exactly what this is. Here's another one. You know exactly what this is from Playboy, 1975, 2006. I don't think I need to explain this to you. You get the message immediately. Retire this shit on this mercy. Have mercy on this freaking wallet. Brilliant ad. Brilliant ad. Look at this. What's wrong with this ribeye? You're probably looking at it like, I don't see anything wrong with it, Kevin. That's the point. There's nothing wrong with it. This is a secondhand place because, I don't know, some marbling was wrong somewhere on there, but you can't even see it. That's the point. What's wrong with this ribeye? Take a look at this ad. It says the message 2 seconds. It's a razor for Gillette. The word hair and a line gone, where the razor just went over the line of hair. Brilliant ad. Says it in 2 seconds. You know exactly. This is it's clean all the way down. It says there's a lot of things you could get into psychologically on this one. Every song you ever owned in your pocket, when the iPod came out, I think it's 2001. I remember when it came out. Every song you ever owned in your pocket. You don't have to carry cassette tapes around or Walkmans anymore. It was 1,000 songs, I think, at the time. That's brilliant marketing. Here's another one for Whoop. They did it off a song with the rhyme. Off of the Police song, every breath you take, every move you make, every workout you fake, every nap you take, every single day, I'll be watching you. Brilliant. Brilliant advertising. There's another one, London to Singapore in the blink of an eye for a flight. From London to Singapore on British Airways. Says the message immediately. It connotates a whole lot of things. That I'm going to be able to sleep, it's going to be comfortable, it's a whole lot of things. Even though you know that British Airways might be really uncomfortable, but it says the message, it gets you thinking in a different way. Here's one for Porsche. Honestly now, did you spend your youth dreaming about one day owning a Nissan or a Mitsubishi? Most of us probably not. You dreamed of owning a Porsche one day. Says the message right away. Here's another one. Belt up and live on. Dude's obviously been in an accident, had a seatbelt on and got beat up a little bit, but he's alive. Says the message in 2 seconds. Boom, instantly. You know what that is. Here's another one. Before Manscaped, you got the soccer ball. After Manscaped. Says the message immediately. You get it. Here's another one. For this guy's actually speaking at Elevate 360, this company from Avi. It's like melting butter. Because, on Amazon, you can't say a lot of words. You can't say melts fat or a lot of medical claims and all this kind of stuff. Use a picture like this. It's like melting butter. People get it. Clinically proven to lose 30 pounds in 90 days. It's really good advertising. This is a great one from the UK. this company went out and they looked in the phone book, and they found someone named Michael Jordan, in the phone book, and they found someone named Dwayne Johnson in the phone book, and they reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you mind? We'll pay you for a quote." And so they got a quote from these random people, and they started running ads. Michael Jordan loves our cereal, or Dwayne Johnson's favorite cereal. Brilliant, brilliant marketing. Here's another one for Specsavers glasses. Out of focus. Time to book a visit, and you see the freaking trucks up on the freaking the divider thing there on the road. Can't even see. It says the message in 2 seconds. Here's another one. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Instantly, that's a great message, a great advertising. People buy things that make them feel better about themselves. David Ogilvy, one of the most famous ad guys of all time. People buy things that make them feel better about themselves. Keep that in mind in all your marketing. Help buyers envision their post-purchase transformation. How is this going to change me? What's this going to do for me? How is this going to solve my problem? People don't buy because of who they are. People buy because of who they want to be. You don't buy because of who you are. You buy because of who you want to be. Who do you want to be? That's my question for you right now. Who do you want to be? Who wants these slides for this? Anybody want the slides? Type it in the Q&A if you want the slides for this. Let me see some people want the slides and the presentation for this. I'm not done yet, by the way, so don't leave. We got some more stuff I'm going to show you here in just a second. But if you want the slides for this presentation, here's how you can get them. Sign up for my newsletter, billiondollarsellers.com. Scan that QR code or go to billiondollarsellers.com. You'll get a welcome email in like 5 minutes. Reply to that welcome email and say, "Kevin, send me the slides. I was on the webinar, the psychology and marketing webinar. Please send me the slides. I will email them to you for free." If you're already a subscriber to the newsletter, that's okay. Just reply to any email you've gotten, like today's newsletter that went out this morning. Just reply to that. Or any other newsletter, just reply to any of them. Say, "Kevin, I was on the webinar, the psychology and marketing webinar. Please send me the slides." And I'll send you all these slides so that you have them all. I'll send you everything. So either sign up. It comes out every Monday and Thursday. It's very actionable. It's very tactical. It's not a big marketing email. It's not a bullshit one that you're going to throw away into the trash. It's one that you're going to want to read because there's tactics and strategies and news in there. It's not, one of these foo-foo ones like you get from a lot of people. They just delete. So sign up, reply, or if you're already a subscriber, just reply to any of the emails, today's or Monday's or any of them, and just say you were on this webinar. I will send you the slides. Now, here's some more bonuses for you. I've got still more stuff to come. Remember, I told you I'm going to give you a GPT that will help you with this ad concepts. There's 4 different QR codes on there. Just either scan them right now with your phone or your iPad that's laying around, or screenshot this so you have it and you can come back to it and lay it, on your computer screen and do it with your phone. But the 25 best TV ads to give you inspiration, an ad psychology video that's really good. I'll help you brainstorm some stuff. An ad concepts GPT. This GPT, you can type in, "Hey, I'm selling dog leashes. I'm trying to come up with some ideas to do what Kevin said, blah, 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 blah. Help me out here." And it'll come back with all kinds of cool stuff. Also a social media GPT, how you can actually use a lot of these concepts to there's no charge for these. These are all free, by the way. And you can get all kinds of social media ideas for your advertising. So make sure you screenshot this or scan these real quick. I'll leave it up for about another 10 seconds, and I'm going to go on to some other cool stuff. We are going to do a Q&A here in just a little bit too, so hang around for that if you got questions. All right, hopefully everybody's got this now. Either you've scanned them or you've screenshotted it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know what? There's one more thing that I want to talk about. One more thing I want to talk about. Remember I said, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? If you really want to boost your business, you need to be at Market Masters. I saw in the Q&A, Luba is in this chat, in the Q&A. She talked, when I mentioned it earlier, she said, because she was at the last one, she was the very first person to buy a ticket to the next one. I put the website up like 2 days ago, and I mentioned it in one little group, said, "Hey, the new website's up, go check it out." She immediately bought to come again. because and so if you've got questions, feel free to type it in the Q&A. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer your question. But the next one is in February. I would love to have somebody there. It was 100% across the board, 5 stars from people. And we're doing it again. We've made some changes and improvements. It's going to be even freaking better. We're doing it in February. It's not cheap, but the money that you're spending, everybody said I underpriced it. I should be charging 3 to 5 times that much after they did it. Before they did it, like, that's a lot of freaking money to spend. I don't know. One person ended up being convinced and like, okay, screw it. I'm going to switch some money around. And I made it work. She made it work. She said, that was the best decision I ever made in my life. This is so game changing for me. And it can be game changing for you, but it's only 12 people. That's the problem. And remember, I said steel sharpens steel. This is Luba. I saw her in the Q&A here. She said this is 2 days ago, or yesterday, actually, I think, or 2 days ago. I attended the very first $1 Billion Seller Summit think tank. It was one of those rare events that immediately raises the bar. As soon as it wrapped, I knew I had to be at the next one. And then she saw that I'm back now with it, and she bought a ticket to come again. So there's 11. Well, she actually bought an audience ticket. So she's already done the think tank. So but she just wanted to be there because it's that powerful just to be there, not to act. Even if you are like, I don't really want to get my ass torn apart in a think tank, and like, I don't really want to expose all my stuff. If you do, it's powerful. You can ask her. But if you don't want to do that, or it's too expensive to do that and get that one-to-one, you can still come and hang out and talk to these 30 to 40 people that are going to be there. They're experts, the top 1% in the space. And I curate these people based on the needs of the people there. So it's not just some random group of people. It's like the people that are coming, they tell me, Luba filled out a form, said, these are my problems, what I'm trying to solve. I went and found people to help her. And that's who I brought in. But you get to pick their brain for the whole weekend. She says, I had no idea what we'll do in February, but I'm not missing this. And she bought. Karen was one of the people. She said, I'm coming home brimming with fresh ideas and strategies. I'm so many inspiring chats. You had Mark DeGrasse. This is crazy successful entrepreneurs. Everybody was incredibly knowledgeable. If you're ready for your next 8-figure e-com business, this is where you should be. Travis Ziegler, some of you may know him. I just had incredible weekends, unforgettable meals, and the whole 9 yards. There's a 200K seller, a $200 million seller. Everybody was there. It's so good. This is the way a think tank works. It's private. So you're not up on the stage in front of a lot of people. You have the option to keep it private, or you can make it public, and a few people can come and sit in the chairs in the back. There's like some couches, so like 10 people, and you can watch other people's think tanks that are okay to have it open. There's massive value in there. About half the people said, I want it private. I don't want anybody else in there. The other half said, I don't care. And the value is like through the roof. So people were like wanting to be in like every one of those. Like, I just want to go sit and listen to another one because I'm learning so much stuff. The Dream 100, I bring a lot of my Dream 100 people. If you're in my newsletter, you know some of those people. And then if I don't have an expert in the Dream 100, I go outside of that and bring in really top people as well. But here's one of the things that we did at this last think tank. When the guys were hanging around, and sometimes they're on the experts, we did 12 think tanks. There's 4 per day. So they're not on every single think tank. They might be participating in 2, 3, 4 of them. So the rest of the time they're hanging around talking to the other people or hanging around. And I got 18 of them. I said, hey, come down here to the basement of this mansion. It's actually a theater, but come down to this theater and we're going to do some secrets down here. Short little 10-minute videos, but very powerful videos that nobody knows. Tell me something that you've been doing, a tactic that nobody knows, that you haven't even shared here at the think tank. So nobody has seen this stuff. And we recorded 18 videos of this. I'm going to show you just a little snippet here of a few of them, just to give you an idea. And we did it with this vibe board. It's really cool. So take a look.
Welcome everybody to the BDSS Market Masters Mansion. My name is John Durkitz, and I'm here today to tell you some of the untold secrets that were shared this weekend. I have a killer hack for you, and I'm going to go through it today. I'm excited, and you should be too. Here we go. My question to all of you is, what if you could dial up a sales spike on Amazon at any given time for any given product? I'm not talking about voodoo here. I'm not talking about dialing up PPC. I'm talking about a tried and true strategy. Why do I say it's tried and true? Because I've done it before.
Now that happens on every single keyword, but there's a way that they do attribution for a certain event on thousands of keywords, which makes it pretty gnarly, but really predictable. Now, the first thing you're going to see is click-through rate and conversion rate and the total dollars, so the total revenue you actually generate on a keyword. This is super important for you to establish your performance score. But your performance score is not the only way you rank.
Now, one of the next ones, one of the most interesting and I would say exciting parts is the bot army, right? So this is, again, not Skynet, just pump the brakes, so you don't have to be scared. But it is the kind of bot army that you've always dreamed you could have. What if you could have a group of agents who work together, either asynchronously or in a hierarchical strategy, to go and execute an objective? So imagine you have a social media department and you say, hey, I'm going to make a bot that's the manager bot, right? You train it to be the manager bot. Hey, you're really good at marketing, blah, blah, blah. Then you say, hey, you're the hashtag researcher. Go hashtag, research on these subjects. You give another one, hey, go do SEO research on titles and subjects and whatever. Another one says, all right, now take the hashtag stuff and take the research stuff, make social content for each of these channels. Maybe you have a Twitter bot, or you got a Facebook bot, a TikTok bot, it doesn't matter.
Hi, my name is Gracie Ryback, and we are currently in Austin, Texas at the BDSS Market Masters think tank. And today I wanted to share a little hack about how to get viral TikTok content without breaking the bank. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how to get started. And a lot of people wonder about how to outreach to influencers. And a lot of times the most simple way to get started is to use some UGC. So UGC stands for user generated content. And I wanted to share 2 softwares or websites that I personally really like. I've worked with as people helping brands, and I've worked with as a creator too. The first.
Hey guys, Vanessa Hung here. And today I'm at the VDSS Market Masters think tank in Austin, and I'm gonna present you something that is really fundamental for the next 3-4 years of selling on Amazon. Well, I think the future of e-commerce is going into AI, and I don't know if you've seen anything that I have posted about the foundation of AI on Amazon and how it's shifting the platform.
Google traffic to my blog. So now what's happening here, let me zoom out a little bit, is we have Google going to a blog. That blog is going to Amazon. Now here's the key with this whole strategy. When you focus on problem-based keywords versus product-based keywords, the cost per click is a lot lower. So right now for my blog, we just started this brand about 6 weeks ago. We built it up to about $20,000 a month in that first month. And this was the main strategy we used to get that, because on Amazon, cost per click is about $13 for acid reflux anything. On Google, I'm getting about 2,000 clicks to my blog for about $400 a week. And so now we're starting to scale that, and that's how we're scaling this brand. However, this is where the magic happens. This is only half of it.
Those are just a few. Each one of these videos goes for 10 minutes each. There's 18 of them. So I had the 18 of the experts come down in the secret room and film these. Nobody has seen these. Not even the people that were there. They haven't even seen them themselves. There's some brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff in this. If you want these, I'm putting them out there right now, all 18 of them for just $297. All 18 of these videos walks you step-by-step actionable stuff. That's just 6, gives you a small taste of the 6. You can scan that QR code or go to billiondollarsellersummit.com and go to the think tank page. And at the scroll to the very bottom of the page, and it says Secrets from the Basement Video Collection, 18 videos. This is exclusive. These have never been on social media. These have never been anywhere. Even the people at the think tank have not seen them. There's some amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Normally, I would charge $14.97. If you've ever been to one of my virtual events to get this level of content, it would be about $1,500. But for you guys on this webinar, it's just $297. You'll get access to all of them for $297. So if you scan that QR code or go to billiondollarsellersummit.com, go to the Think Tank Market Masters Think Tank page, scroll to the very bottom, you'll see that there, and you can pick that up for $297. Now, also, if you want to come to the Think Tank, you can actually get that there. The Think Tank, there's only 12 seats. It's $49.97. It's not cheap, but just think, it's an entire weekend. Includes the food, includes all the activities, includes the drinks, includes, there's a beautiful mansion, so all the activities at the mansion, includes all that, includes one-on-one time with all these experts, includes your think tank private, or you can keep it open. You get to see some of the other think tanks It's just an incredible. You saw the video earlier, or you're like, I don't want to do that, or that's too expensive, or I don't want to go deep into my business, but I want to be there. I want to rub shoulders. I want to be around these super smart people, and I want to learn and make connections and network. You can just come and be an audience member, and just pay. And so you don't actually do a think tank, so you're not one of the 12 that sits through these 2.5 hour think tanks for your business, but you can still take advantage of being there and you don't get as much value, but you get a lot of value. We had several people do this last time and they loved it. So you can do that for a lesser price. You'll find that at billiondollarsellersummit.com, and go to the think tank option or scan that QR code right there. But I tell you what, I only got 12 spots. And these should be selling for about $15,000. That's what everybody said there. We sat at breakfast one day, and I asked people, gave feedback, said, now I know what this is. I would have paid a lot more. I'm like, really? Well, you would have. They're like, yeah, this is worth 10, 15, 20 grand. I can't charge that much. I wish I could. It's too much money for most people. But this covers my cost. This is not a moneymaker for me. This is not something where Kevin gets rich quick and go buy a new car. I actually lost money on the first one. And this one, I'm hoping to break even. And so that just covers the cost for this mansion, covers the cost because I got to put the experts up and cover all the food, all that stuff. And it's good food. My chef comes out. We have massages. I have my masseuse come out. My trainer comes out. So it's an entire weekend. It's like going to summer camp for ecom guys. It's a really cool event. You can come. There's 12 spots. When they're gone, they're gone. I can't add more because of time. Or you can come in the audience if you don't want to be one of the 12 spots. And we do some little hot seats, little mini hot seats for those guys. And you get to watch some of the other think tanks as well, the ones that are left open. But I tell you what, since you guys are on this webinar, you've hung with me for the last hour and a half. Remember, I told you this would be about an hour and a half. I'm going to throw in those secrets in the basement for free to anybody that buys the think tank. If you're one of those 12, or if you buy the audience, I'm going to give you for free all 18 of those videos, those secrets in the basement that nobody's seen, that are actionable tactical stuff that's cutting edge from some of the top 1% in the space. I'm going to throw that in for free. But you know what? I'm feeling kind of generous right now, so I'm going to throw something else in for free too. The last several BDSS events, we film them and then I sell the replays. People can't make them live. So the BDSS 10, which was just in Hawaii back in May, BDSS 8 from Puerto Rico last year. The number in between is the virtual event. I'm going to throw in the replays for these two events. So you'll get all the replays from all the speakers, the ninja hacks, everything. If you come to the think tank, buy either ticket, the audience ticket or the think tank ticket, I'm going to throw in the secrets and the replays from the last two. No, you know what? Let me make it the last 4 BDSS events. So the last 4 in-person BDSS events, I'm going to throw in all the replays. These sell for $14.97. Sometimes one of them was like $9.97. That's what they sell for. That's a real value. That's not some made-up imaginary number just to make it sound good. That's $6,485 of real value, totally for free. If you decide to come to the think tank, you're one of the 12 people to sit in the think tank, or you're one of the audience members, I will throw in all this stuff for free. So this is like you're basically coming to the think tank for free. If you think about it that way, actually I'm paying you almost to come to the think tank because I know what a difference this will make for you. So all you got to do, there's only 12, just get either one of these, be one of the 12 that sits in the think tank. The way that works is you sign up. In the next couple weeks, a week or so, I will send you a form to fill out. You will tell me your products, you will tell me your pain points, you're telling me what you're trying to solve. I create a dossier, a full dossier, like a full document about you. And then I go out and I find people that are specific to meet your needs. So if you tell me I'm having trouble with social media, or I'm having trouble with branding, or I'm looking to exit my business, or whatever it is, I go and I find people and I invite them to the think tank to come and help you. And then they get this dossier. So in advance, they can look at you. So they're not just coming in there and going, hi, nice to meet you. They've already done some homework in advance. So we make very good use of that time. And a lot of them have done massive homework. They've dug deep. They take it seriously. They're not getting paid for this, but they take it seriously because they learn a lot of stuff too. So that's how it works. There's only 12 of those. I'll throw in all those bonuses for you. I'm going to tell you what, going to do it even one more thing. If you come to either of the think tank, either as an audience member or as a think tank, and you decide that you want to come to BDSS in Iceland in April, you're like, you know what, Kevin, this is a lot of money to spend for all these events and travel and whatever. I'm going to help you out. So if you come to the think tank, either as an audience member or as a think tank participant, and then you also want to come to Iceland, either for BDSS or Elevate 360, or maybe even both of them, I will pay for your hotel for either of those events or both. Depending on, you got to buy a ticket to the event, but normally you have to buy a ticket to the event and then actually buy your hotel on top of that. It's about $2,000 for each event for the hotel. You could stay in an Airbnb or stay somewhere else, but the hotels these are 5-star. I mean, the Blue Lagoon. I mean, that's a bucket list place for a lot of people for Elevate 360. That's where the event's being held. And the main BDSS event is in the heart of Reykjavik in a Marriott. So if you got Marriott points, Bonvoy points, you can use that at the Edition. It's a 5-star hotel. So I will pay for your hotel for either of those events or both of them. If you come to the think tank and you also decide to come to Iceland, so that's another $4,000 right there. So right there, you basically just off of that, you're coming to the think tank for free. To the think tank for free. This is a no-brainer, and the think tank is powerful. If you only had to choose one of all these, like I can't afford all this, they all sound awesome. Do the think tank. If you can't get to the think tank, come to BDSS. If you really you're at that 20, 30, 50, $100 million mark, or even $5 million mark, or even $1 million mark, Elevate 360 will change your life. It will change your game, change your perspective. It's not Amazon's focused. BDSS is Amazon focused. Elevate 360 is not. It's game changing. So this is what I have for you. Remember, there's only 12 $billion-sellersummit.com. That's the video. I'm not going to play it again right now. Everybody, you saw it earlier. If someone asks in the Q&A for me to replay it, I'll replay it. But that's about the think tank. You can also watch it on the website. So that's what I have for you today. Hopefully I'll see some of you in Austin or some of you in Iceland. Hopefully you got some good value from this webinar. Remember to get if you want it, the replay will go out. I will be sending a replay out. And if you want the slides, to make sure you either sign up for $1 Billion Seller Newsletter, $billiondollarsellers.com, sign up for free, and then reply to an email saying, please, I was on the webinar, please send me the slides. Or if you're already a subscriber, just reply to any of the newsletters that you've gotten saying I was on the webinar, please send me the slides. With that, I've got a few minutes here. I'll open it up for some Q&A. Let me go over here to the Q&A and bring that up so I can actually see it. All right. So if you're at zero, Vanessa, I think, Vanessa, if you're at zero, you just started selling, probably I would not recommend you come to Iceland. That's going to be over your head. I would recommend the think tank. The think tank, even if you're not selling, you can come in there and say, I'm just starting. What do I do? I'm thinking about selling this, this, and this. I've researched these products. Can you tell me if I'm making the right decision or not, or how should I do this, or what should I look at? You will walk away with an absolute action plan of either you're on the right track or no, you need to scrap this and you need to go down this path, and here's exactly what you should do. Here's who you should talk to source it. You could walk away with it over that weekend. Your 2.5 hours in the think tank will get you most of the way there, but then the whole rest of the weekend just talking to people and hanging out will catapult you. Like it will take you so fast than doing some course or online or just winging it and going. It will skyrocket you on your path to. It's not going to guarantee success. No one can guarantee success, but it's probably the closest thing you can get to guaranteeing it, if I had to say that. Yeah, the 18 video package, Louise, you can purchase that. It's on the website. If you have to go to the think tank site, Market Masters think tank. Let me just pull that up real quick and make sure. Yeah, it's on there. Let me take a look here just to make sure. Yeah, I took the screenshot actually from the website, so it should be on there. Yeah, I see it there. I'll also send you out the link if you're having trouble with the replay. You'll get a link too for that. Excuse me. Chris is saying, "What's the best resource training you could recommend for Google Ads?" Excuse me. Take a drink. Everybody's going TikTok shop right now, but I want to focus on Google. There's a lot of really good Google stuff. I would follow John Moran, JOHNMORAN, on a lot of his stuff on LinkedIn. There's a lot of really good training that's out there on that, and he has some resources there, so that's where I would go for that. Naeem says he just launched his first brand. It's selling while he's looking to come to Iceland. Awesome. You'll get a lot of valuable stuff. One of the things I do at BDSS in Iceland is the speakers, you go to a lot of conferences and you hear the same old stuff, same stuff they talked about on a podcast or some online thing or the last show you went to. I don't allow that at BDSS. They may present it later down the road somewhere, but they have to present brand new stuff, and they're competing for cash prizes. So the speakers there, it's an honor to win BDSS, to be voted best speaker by the audience, and it gets competitive. The speakers are competing for $5,000, and I publish the list of the name of the speaker. So I'll say if there's 15 speakers, the last day everybody votes, and I say here's the top 10. Number 10 is so and so. Number 9 is so and so. Number 8 so and so, all the way down to the winner. If your name didn't get called, if you're number 11 to 15, you're pretty embarrassed because you didn't do so well compared to your competition. Maybe you're a smart person and you gave a great presentation, but it wasn't as good as the others. And so that means everybody's trying to one up everybody, and that's a value for the audience. And then we don't just do the conference. We're doing an entire day in Iceland. You can see a general schedule on the website where you're going out in these Jeeps and you're going on glaciers and you're going to geysers and you're doing all this cool stuff. We do an AI competition. We do a lot of really cool stuff. The VIP dinner last night, you're going to be at a volcano with you feel the heat and you actually leave with lava rock. Or you're going to do a flyover Iceland kind of thing. And then we have a VIP party at this place that's got whales, life-size whales hanging from the roof over you while you're eating. It's just, we take it to the next level in what we do there. It's not just another random conference. It's an experience. It's a total experience. And people that have been to a bunch of these, they can tell you that. We do. It's a total experience. It's not just a conference and learning. So Agnes says, if you just want to join an audience and the think tank as audience or networking, will the hotel be free? No, there's a charge. You look on the website you scan that QR code that's up. You can either stay in the mansion. There's 10 rooms in the mansion. There's 11, but my event planner has one of them. So there's 10 rooms available in the mansion. So 10 people can stay in the proper mansion itself where we hold everything. Everybody else is in Airbnbs around there. We have a shuttle that takes you around. They're all within a couple minutes. And you have your own private room, but there is a small charge for that. So if you want to stay in the mansion, which is what I recommend, because you're in the heart of everything, you don't have to go anywhere. You can run back to your room really easily. And that's what I recommend. But the hotel, what I'm talking about for free is if you decide to if you come to the think tank and you also decide to come to Iceland for either event or both, I'll cover your hotel. So that means I either cover your hotel for BDSS, I cover your hotel for Elevate 360, or if you decide to do both events back to back, because they're back to back, then I cover your hotel for both of them, and you don't have to pay for that separately. That's what that means. Kirk, if you're in supplements, Elevate 360 and BDSS are going to have some of the top supplement guys out there. Both events, and this is the thing. If you can afford it, we're not talking chump change here to do all these events. So if you can afford it, I would do as much as you can afford. And you have to look at it as an investment. You're like, God damn, that's a lot of freaking money. But the connections and the knowledge you're going to get is going to accelerate you. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money in the long term and save you time. You're compressing time. So you might be able to do some of the same things and have some of the same success. It might take you 3 years, but by coming to one or both of these events or all these events, you're going to cut that from the 3 years to 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. So in essence, you're spending money to get time back and actually be able to make more money and to compound it more is the way you have to look at it. So if you're just looking at it from the hard cost, like, God damn, that's a lot of money. These are not big money makers for you. You might be thinking I'm getting rich. No, I don't. I don't. They're not Hawaii I actually lost money on too. I lose money sometimes. You'll see if you've come to one, the production value and the level, you'll see why. But that's so it depends on supplements, Kirk. You'll get value at both. The biggest difference is in Austin, it's going to be very customized to you. So you're going to come in and say, "This is what I'm selling. I'm selling whatever you're selling. This is how I'm doing it. I'm running Facebook ads. I'm doing this. I'm doing this." And it's going to be like, "No, you shouldn't do that," or "That's great, but if you did add this, 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 and this to it, it's going to be very customized to you." You come to Iceland, it's a little bit more general because you're listening to presentations that some apply to you, some don't, but they're still great, and you get to network with the people. There'll be more people, 150 people in Iceland versus 50 people at the mansion. So it's more intimate at the mansion, but they're both awesome events. They're different. Andy Andy says he's done 3 BDSS virtuals, and he saw me at the last 2 Southern Seller Fests. Thanks. Yeah, this is the type of stuff I showed you today is that we work on this type of stuff directly with you. So I gave you examples. You're like, well, how's that? How can I do that for me? We'll brainstorm that with you. And you have 8 to 10 people brainstorming that with you, and then plus 20 or 30 more hanging out in the house during lunch while other things are going on. There's pickleball courts, there's an arcade, there's pool. I mean, I bring in my masseuse, there's massages, there's stretching. We bring in a lunchtime kind of speaker thing. It's cool. Katie, can I have you as my mentor? Yeah, I wish I don't have time to do that. I wish I could. It's fun for me. I didn't skip over your question, Jenna. I'm just peeling them here. Let me see. How do you become a speaker at these webinars? I work as a brand strategist for a digital marketing company. Contact me on LinkedIn or send me an email, and I'll take a look. The events, the BDSS Iceland events and Elevate 360, the speakers are completely full. The virtual events, I do a virtual event for those of you who don't want to travel. It's to be in August. So those of you who don't want to travel, it's about $1,000 for that event. That's a BDSS virtual. It's not the same as in person, but I do that in August. So I might be able to have you as a speaker, but I have to take a look, and I'm not familiar with you, so I have to take a look at your stuff. I'm pretty picky on the speakers, and you may be great. I'm just not familiar with you. How much is the hotel cost for the Texas event? Says Maya. If you go to the scan that QR code that's on the screen, it's all right there. So you can stay at the mansion. I think 4 nights at the mansion is $797, so it's like $200 a night. Or you can stay at the Airbnb. I forget it's $497 or $597 for 4 nights. So, or if you don't want to do either of those, you can rent a car and just go get your own hotel somewhere. This is about 25 miles outside of Austin downtown. So it's not close to like all the big hotels. So it's better to actually do our options. It's going to be cheaper and more convenient for you. But if you have points somewhere or you have a friend that lives here and you just want to commute in, you can do that to save some money. So it's not expensive. We just basically pass the cost on. I don't mark it up or make any money. Mike is saying, does the price of the hot seat include housing or food? It includes all the food, all your food and drinks, alcohol, soft drinks, teas, coffees, whatever is all included the entire time, all your food. It does not include the housing. So the housing, if you look there on that page, there's 2 options. Either stay in the mansion. It's the first come, first serve. There's only 10. I think a couple of the rooms are already taken by someone that bought tickets the other day. Or you stay at one of the Airbnbs. We coordinate the whole thing. You just show up. You don't have to worry about booking anything. You just show up. But we coordinate all that for you. Damjen saying, Kevin, what's a reasonable seller level in order to get the value from the Texas event? Any level. The value from the Texas event could be, you just like the lady earlier that's just starting, to we had a $130 million seller. Literally, that 130 million on Amazon, not like across all their platforms. At the last one in Austin, they came in, 2 of them. They're a husband-wife team. It's a family business, so they actually had their. They both came because they wanted to be there in person, and then they had the president of the company on a Zoom call. So they put the laptop on the table during the think tank, and he was participating. And they came in with 3 things that they wanted, and by the end of it, We told them you shouldn't be doing any of these three things. You're crazy. You have no business doing those three things based on what you just told us. You should be doing these things. What they said is that it was so life-changing for them that when their think tank got over, they left the mansion. They got in their rental car and they left and went for a drive just to decompress and to go have a drink. And they came back and brought me a present. And they brought me they found a book or something, some shop they walked by where they went to have a drink. And they brought me a book and they said, we just want to give you this because this has been so game-changing for us. We thought we needed one thing, and now we realize that's not what we needed because all these experts just said, no, you're missing the boat here. This is going to completely change everything for us. They were so grateful and so thankful. We had somebody else that went through a think tank, and he said he had to go for a walk. This house is by the lake. So he went for like a 2-hour walk just to decompress. He said, my mind is just blown. And the thing about the think tanks is you can take notes, but we also do, I use an AI tool to actually record it. So we don't sell the recording. So these don't go out to anybody, even the experts don't get the recording. But you as the think tank participant, you get an AI recording. So you get the audio of your think tank. So because a lot of times in the moment, things are just coming so quick, you can't keep up with it all. You're like, I want to go back and revisit that. So we give you the audio, we give you AI summaries. We use a Applaud device, which is badass in the way it summarizes stuff. We give you all this stuff. So you walk away with not only your own notes and what you heard, but you also walk away with everything summarized conveniently for you. So Maya and her daughters, her partner, if both of us come, do we have to pay twice as much? You both have to pay. Well, if you reach out to me, if you buy a single ticket, then the second person can come at a discount. So if you're on the same think tank, if your partner's in the same business, like the example I just gave, or the other couple, then one person pays the regular price, the other person, the second person is basically half price. And then you can share the same room. That can save, if you're willing to do that, that can save you money. Shinlin's asking, sorry if I'm missing your question. There's a lot coming in, so I'm just answering them as I can. What do you do if your brand is copied by competitors all the time? I create solutions, but the copycats just keep nipping me right off. There's a lot of things that you can do around that. I have about 30 ideas off the top of my head. Coming to the think tank, yes, that it can definitely help you. They will give you specific strategies. I will curate people that know how to do this from an IP point of view, from a marketing point of view, from a packaging point of view, from a Amazon listing point of view. To actually, you might not be able to get rid of 100% of them, but we can show you how to nip this in the bud and deal with it and eliminate a lot of it. And when it does happen, it's like pop a mole. Yes. So the answer is yes. I think you'll get a lot of very actionable tactical things specific to you, because I can give you general things, but your product is special or specific. And we don't want to tell everybody what that is right here, but in the think tank, you open up and the questions can get kind of hard. Remember, the first hour is them asking you questions. There's no solutions. They can't tell you, oh, they may say, are you running Facebook ads? And you're like, yes, I'm running Facebook ads. And can we see them? Or they're looking them up. But they don't say, oh, well, you should do this on your ad. They're just getting information. Then we take a break go to the bathroom, grab a drink, and then we come back. And it's all solutions. And it's moderated. So everything is kept on point. And you don't ramble off down some rabbit hole, waste a bunch of time. They're super powerful. Teddy's asking about suppliers. That's not really a question for here to ask about here. Good luck, Rainier, on your son's basketball game. Let's see, Sonny's. What's the best full-service Amazon agency? Yeah, I don't want to give plugs out on here for agencies and stuff, Sonny. Paz says, would you recommend the Austin event for a beginner European seller? Yeah, I mean, most of the experts are American-based. So their focus is primarily American, but I can find people that also sell in Europe if that's where you're selling. We did have people fly in from Europe last time to actually participate, and they got massive value. One of them ended up saving his business, literally. I mean, he was in tears. because he came as an audience member. He did not come as a think tank participant because he was too late. The think tanks were already sold out. But he came as an audience member. And when he came as an audience member, we did a little miniature thing, a hot seat. We call it hot seat. So it's like 20 minutes. It's in the living room. So it's open. It's not nearly as detailed. It's not nearly as what you get if you do the think tank. But he mentioned his problem, and 5 people said, "Oh, this is what you got to do. The next, you need to fly to Seattle because Accelerate is happening in Seattle next week. So you need to change your ticket to instead go back to London to actually fly to here. And you need to go talk to this person and do this." He did that. He took their advice, went up there. 2 days later, he posted in the group. He said, "I'm crying right now. I'm not a guy that cries, but I'm crying right now because I just, my, I forget exact numbers, it was millions of dollars. I just resurrected this problem and fixed this problem because I came to this think tank. And you guys made the connections for me. And you told me what to do. I had no clue what to do. I've been fighting this for like a year." That's how profound it can be, and the knowledge you can get from this. Josh says, "What's my favorite event?" Well, I'm partial to my own events. My favorite's Elevate 360s because they're so different than just a normal Amazon event of my events. And the think tank is, after the last think tank, I actually thought about it. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do BDSS anymore. This is so cool and so good. And it was so impactful for everybody. Maybe I should just do think tanks. But outside of this space, outside of the Amazon space, I go to Go High Level events. I go to Funnel Hacking Live events. I go to YouTube events. I go to podcast events. I go to deal events. I go to funnel events. I go to webinar events. So I go to a lot of events outside of the Amazon space as well. And there's a lot of good ones. Sonny's asking, you're asking about suppliers. I don't really want to get into details on questions like that. That's not what this Q&A is really for. Melissa, you're asking about the import taxes. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. I discussed that some in the newsletter, and we got a podcast coming out talking about a lot of that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let me scroll back up here and see what other questions we might have. Go for another few minutes. See, Elena's saying, is there a BDSS plan in the future, maybe for somewhere in the middle of Europe? We are looking at some European options for future years. So the answer is yes, but I don't know, I have a specific. But Iceland's only 3 hours from London, so it's pretty close. It's not like flying all the way to the States or to Hawaii or something like that. Let's see. Thanks, Andy, for plugging the Freedom Ticket. Evan, you're asking about a deleted SKU. Yeah, that's not really a subject for this call. Josh is asking now the tactics today, which is my favorite. Oh man, there's so many good ones in there. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. The sound stuff probably, it would be because I've seen the power of doing all the sound with your products and with the jingles and with the all that kind of stuff. Sound would probably be one of them. Gerald's saying, what's a psychological marketing book you recommend? I recommend Influence. Influence is probably one of the best marketing books you can read right now. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Influence. Many saying, so fundamentally, you're suggesting that marketing should focus on the problems your product solves, whether those problems already exist or need to be created, rather than marketing the product itself? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with marketing the product itself. In certain cases, you need to do that. Like sometimes to rank on Amazon, you need to just focus on just market this product, just buy my damn product so I can get ranked. But once you get past that little fundamental thing to have long-term longevity, yes, you need to work on and have be able to expand off of an Amazon platform where you're talking to AI and keywords. You need to actually do what we talked about in this presentation to have a chance of long-term longevity and keep people away. Sunder Mohan says, I'm shy and an introvert while being uncomfortable. Maybe a little bit, but sometimes that's what you need. sometimes the best stuff comes when you're in uncomfortable situations. The best ideas, the best solutions, and sometimes, I mean, it's all friendly people, so you're not going to be harassed. You're not going to be feel like you're judged or something like that. So you don't have to worry about any of that. But and once you get to know people, like, hey, these are just people too. Yeah, they're successful, but they're just like me. They've been through hard times and rough times and whatever, personal life and business life, and you'll get more comfortable. But it can be nervous for some people to come and hang around other people and network or to be in a think tank. It can be nervous. I'm just scrolling back up through the questions, see if Damagen's saying, well, I plan to host a Market Masters in Europe. We may at some time. We are going to put it on the road. So this one's in Austin, but we will at some points put it on the road, and do it at some different places. Margaret asked about the team member again. Yeah, I can work a deal. So if you buy a single ticket, then message me and say, hey, I've got another team member that wants to come. And that's either for BDSS, there's a partner option on the website. So on BDSS or Elevate on the website, there's a partner option. On the Think Tank website for Market Masters, there's not. So you'd buy one ticket, then message me, say, hey, my partner's going to come and join me from the same session. And I can send you a special link to get that at a discounted price. Mark Williams says he is one of the people at breakfast that I talked about, truly worth way more than $5,000 to come to the think tank. Thanks, Mark, for that endorsement. Rainey says, yeah, she's just starting up. Yeah, the BDSS is not for someone just starting up. You're going to be over your head on that or Elevate 360, but the think tank can help you. I mean, it can help you. Like, you probably need some basic stuff, and we can help you with all the basic stuff and get that all lined up for you. So it can definitely help. Whether you're at 130 million or you're just starting, it runs the range. I mean, we all started somewhere, so it can run the entire range. So you could go pay $5,000 for a course and learn some stuff, or you could come there and learn from people that are actually doing it, not someone that's just teaching it, trying to make some money and then skipping steps, but like step by step by step by step by step, all the way to product selection, to forming the business, to you walk away there, you be getting stuff done right away. Oh, Karen says Market Masters was the best event I've attended, and I'm still implementing all the ideas given from the experts. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate that. That was very kind of you. Janet, yeah, the QR codes will be in the replay as well. James says he's coincidentally landing in Iceland that day with his kids. Well, come on and join us. Let's see if there any. Oh, Julie says no, it wasn't a 5-star event. The think tank was a 10-star event. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate that. That's very kind of you. All right, I'm gonna go back to the bottom now. Josh asking about a BDSS in Canada. I don't know if I'll do one in Canada or not, but you can come down to the States. It's not far. If you want branding ideas, Sumar Mahan, the think tank, specifically to you. I mean, you'll get some at BDSS, but the think tank. Agnes says, if my husband wants to come just as a guest to the Texas meet, well, you need to pay for a ticket. If he wants to hang around the house, yeah, he can pay. He doesn't have to pay for a full price ticket. He can come on a secondary ticket. But yeah, he would need a ticket because it covers all the food. I have a chef, like a team of 5 people. We have the massages that you get. There's a free massages. There's all the amenities of the house, the drinks, everything. I got to cover those costs. I mean, it wouldn't cost you any more for the room. I'm assuming since it's your husband, y'all would stay together in the same room. So that wouldn't cost you any additional, but there would be a small charge. So you would buy a regular ticket, and then I could give you a link for a discounted ticket for him. Nick says, are there going to be any more marketing related info in this, or just talk about the trip? This is just Q&A right now, Nick. Yeah, just we're about to wrap it up actually. So this is just a Q&A. Gavin, you're asking about getting the lowest price badge. I'm not going to go into tactics on this webinar on things that weren't relative to the webinar. So the lowest price badge in 30 days wasn't something that this webinar is not about hacks or those kinds of things. It's about marketing in the Market Masters event. Luba says the biggest breakthrough she got the last Market Masters was just the last day chatting with people. She got a lot in her session, but she also got a lot just chatting with people on the last day. Thanks for signing up for the newsletter, Mindy. Appreciate that. Yeah, Mac, there's a replay. It'll go out. Thanks, Agnes. Appreciate the comment. Luis, do you have certain social media platforms you prioritize? I use for my products, Instagram, TikTok, primarily for my products. For business, I use Facebook and LinkedIn. That's just me. But I mean, depends on your product, and depends on a bunch of other things, but that's my personal what I do. All right, cool. I think we've about done it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess thanks to everybody for showing up. Hopefully I'll see some of you either in Austin or in Iceland. Or you can also remember get the get those 18 secret videos as well if you don't want to do anything. I highly recommend those. Those are awesome. And you saw the style, so it's a totally different style of what you normally would get. But yep, cool. I think that's everything for this webinar. So thanks to everybody that's still hung out here and hung on at the end. There's still 180 of you here. So I appreciate that. And have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.